Welcome, everybody. This is the Niele podcast. I'm Shania.
I'm Ray-Ray.
And
I'm
today's
Lorenzo.
guest is...
Start again. Lorenzo, we'll introduce you,
We
bro.
have to introduce you, bro.
Dude, my bad. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'll just sit back.
know what?
I feel like
He's
you need
like,
a
I'm
person
part
to
of
be
it.
like,
Just let me know when
He's
I
like,
talk.
I'm a host. I'm a host.
sure. Just give me my lines. Just give me my lines.
We sent you your lines, bro.
Dude, you give me questions. You can send me lines.
Okay,
I'm professional
one more
right now.
time.
One more time like that. Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Niele podcast. I'm Shania.
I'm Ray-Ray.
And today's guest, we have...
Uncle Renzo.
I'm Lorenzo.
Hi, Renzo.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
Round of applause.
Introduce yourself. Name, age, occupation, where you're living.
So my name is Lorenzo. Lorenzo Levine, Tupe. My occupation right now, I'm currently a zipline tour guide here at Canna Farms. Yeah, at Climeworks. My age, I'm 25. After this August of 27. And what else? The last one is
Where do you live right now?
where I'm living right now. I'm living in Laie, Hawaii right now.
Yeah,
And
boy.
for those of you who don't know, right next to him is his twin.
Wow.
Bro,
That is-
look. It's
Dang,
literally
respectfully,
green and brown on your
respectfully.
hat.
Wow.
Wow. Dang. Well,
Like, it's
anyway.
literally green.
It's like you don't want me to interview me. You just want to put me on a hot seat.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so where do you fall in the family?
All right, guys. And that's my time here on the show today for the Niele podcast. Oh, that's been great. Thanks for having me.
Bro,
Okay.
Nah, that was so...
That was uncalled
Bro,
for.
look though. His hat is brown and green, and so is the stem. And then his shirt is orange.
It's just the aesthetic, bro. We're just here. We're just here.
Charge it
I
to
was
the
just trying to
game.
get into spooky
Charge
season
it to
mood.
the game.
Charge it to the game. Okay, where do you fall in the family?
I am the youngest of 7 boys and, yeah, what you would call a sister.
Okay, where were you born?
I was born in American Samoa.
What city?
Ooh, man. Pangai.
Or-
Pangai Hospital.
You were born in American Samoa, and then you came to Utah.
Yep, okay. Oh, yeah, I can go ahead and start from there, yeah. So I was born in American Samoa. I came to Utah. I went to Texas for a little bit, and then it's just been up and back between South Utah, Southern Utah, and Northern Utah.
Where did you go to school? Like, what
okay.
schools did you go to? Like elementary school, middle,
High school.
high school.
All of it.
So I did a little bit of elementary school in American Samoa at Alofau, and then I did elementary school in Utah at Roosevelt, which is located in South Ogden, and then I did Washington Terrace Elementary School, and then I did Fossil Ridge Intermediate School in Southern Utah, in St. George, and then I did high school at Pineview, St. George, Utah, and then finished out there.
Who was your best friend throughout high school?
Ooh, best friend throughout high school? Definitely the only other, 5 kids that were Polynesian at my school.
Whatever,
Yeah.
bro.
No, I feel like there was a lot of Polynesian kids.
At least the ones that I was cool with. There was 5 of them, just because we were specifically in the same grade. All the other poly kids, they were, way older than me. They were more towards, your guys is oh, sorry. Wow, my bad.
I'm 1 year older than you, bro.
Yeah. No, I just felt disrespected after that pumpkin joke. I was just trying. I was just reaching. Just reaching right now.
Reaching, bro.
Yeah. No, but yeah. Just the other poly kids that were at my school. So I definitely have to say, I have my friend Irie, who's a doctor. Got my friend Raymond, he's construction right now. And then a couple other boys. Nephi, he was one of my really, really good friends. Rest in peace. And then... Yeah, and then one of our other boys, they're all my friends though. They're from here. They're from Laie, so kind of makes sense that I ended up out here because that's literally who I surrounded myself with.
What about like elementary school, intermediate, middle school?
Elementary school, intermediate school, definitely the gang was the Tupe clan right there, bro. Definitely gang stuff was for the family. A lot of at least what I remember when we were growing up, like it kind of seems like I was with my nieces and nephews a lot more throughout like, you know, childhood era, and then kind of when we kind of hit middle school and like intermediate, that kind of areas, that's kind of when everybody moved to Hawaii, and then yeah, so definitely stuck it out from there. So it was kind of nice that had a few Polynesian kids to remind me of home, especially when my home was somewhere else. But it's cool. It's cool. Whatever's abandoned me. Not just playing.
What was it like going to different schools? Like, was it hard for you to make friends, or you think it was pretty easy?
Man, honestly, I feel like the culture shock was definitely there for sure. Just, you know, seeing other kids like the things they were able to do that I was limited to do, you know? Not that I was limited to do anything, but there are certain, like, factors and things that, like, other kids would do that I'd be like, wow, like, I could never do that. Or, like, wow, I could never stand or do anything like that just because of, you know, the cultures and standards and ethics that I was brought up on, you know? So, like, I definitely think that it drew a line between making friends because, like, I couldn't go over to their house, like, every day like other kids. Like, and, like, they would be like, oh, no worry, my mom can take me. I was like, I gotta beg my mom to drive me to school, you know? Like, and you're like, and they're like, yeah, no, I can drive. And I was like, oh, I don't have any cars. Like, I only got the Waka-Feeties, the Lamborghinis. That's all I got in my bag right now. So, yeah, I definitely would say it was hard relating to, like, some of their problems because, like, I definitely was like, nah, bro, like, I don't get mad that my mom gives me allowance. If she give me allowance, I'd be happy. Like, yeah, so, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of why I shifted more towards the kids that were, you know, from the same culture as me, the Pacific Islanders, for sure.
What was it like being the youngest of 8? And what was it like growing up with your nieces and nephews and not your siblings?
Yeah, kind of perfect. Just like kind of like I said before, like it was just I grew up with you guys, you know, like you guys are in my same age category. Like you said, you're only 1 year older than me, so I just feel like it was just kind of natural for me to look at you guys more like siblings because we were all kind of learning at the same level, you know, adapting at the same rate. So it was just kind of cool to kind of see, like, even though when we had that separation in elementary school or middle school, it was like I met up with you guys and, like, you guys had already graduated, but it was, like, still the same. It just felt like we were just more grown up, and it was just kind of funny to look back and understand why we did the things we did when we were little. And so I always, I don't know, I cherish that because that connection is there with my nieces and nephews where I feel like most times it isn't with, you know, uncles and, you know, growing up and stuff. So I definitely feel more closer to you guys and more relatable to you guys than I do with, you know, as being the youngest of 7, like, you know, the age gap, it's like 10 or something years. So, like, it is crazy to see the difference of, like, they've already been through that.
We were doing the math, bro, and the age difference between you and my dad is like 30-something.
Yeah, see, like, that's a 37-year age gap of, like a man who's already starting to have kids and stuff. So, like, the fact that, like, produced you guys and, like, I am the youngest, it is something that I'm grateful for because not everybody in my situation, like, especially being the youngest, gets to have, like, that group of siblings, you know? Like, especially because they're all older. So, like, I always am grateful that, you know, the way it lines up, and especially in our family, of, like, me being the youngest and your guys' dads being, like, way older than me, is, like, it gives me that new connection to you guys that I feel like, I don't know, it's lucky because I feel like most people don't have that.
Did you ever feel left out? Like,
oh, for sure. Like, on my brother's end?
Yeah.
Like how, yeah, oh yeah, for sure, because, you know, like here I am growing and developing, and they're just talking about stories of, like, things they were doing when they were my age and stuff, and, like, it's just to see the black and white of, like, how they rolled versus, like, how me and my friends roll, it's just like, wow, like, that's crazy. I'm not really doing that kind of stuff with you guys, but I'm doing that with your guys' kids. like literally, we're literally all doing the same thing right now, but, like, yeah, so it is kind of just like a retrospect of, like, 2 different ends of the side because, you know, I walk in and, like, to me, my brothers, they view me, you know, just as it is. Like, I'm their brother, like, in that same respect of, like, you know, how you treat your siblings. But when I see, like, my nieces and nephews, it's kind of like, for me, like it's not really necessarily that bond. It's more of like, wow, like these are the people I grown up with. These are people I relate to. Like, yeah, so definitely feel like I missed out because like hearing their stories of like 7 boys just rolling around, and I'm over here with like my 6 nieces and my other my nephew. Like, so it is kind of funny just to see the retrospect of it all.
What is some of your favorite memories, like, of us growing up? And then what are some of your favorite memories of your brothers when you're growing up? And then what are some of your favorite memories of your parents? So let's start with nieces and nephews, the gang. What are some of the favorite memories?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely feel like I can't explain a story with my nieces and nephews without bringing up our sledding stories. Just because, I don't know, that's something that I cherish. I feel like it's something that, you know, we talk about often as well. I feel like it's always kind of coming up every time we all link up. So I feel like I kind of tell it. I don't know how my version is going to sound versus how everybody else remembers it. So I'll just tell it how I remember it because I'm entitled to what I remember. So just gotta put myself out there just so nobody's like, no, that didn't happen. This is how I remember it. But I just remember we all were eating one time, and then Dorian, Ray-Ray's dad, he came in, and from what I remember, it was also Shania's dad, Levine, and they were like, oh yeah, we should go sledding, and it was like 2 a.m. Like, it was like so late, and we're like, yeah, we'll all get ready and we'll all go sledding. And so we all get our stuff, we all get our gear, and we head over to where the hills are for sledding. And it's like 3 a.m. at this point because it took everybody that amount of time to get ready and get down there. So it's like 3:30 in the morning, and we're all sledding. And then I remember just seeing like the cop car pull up, and it was just the sirens are going off, and it was just a guy, and it was an officer. He came and he was like, oh, what are you guys doing? It's like 3:30 in the morning. And I just remember Ray-Ray's dad looking at me so serious, and he was like, jump in the snow and hide your guys' stuff in the snow. And we started burying ourselves, and then I just remember, like, I never seen your dad, like, more serious, like, about, like, us hiding in the snow while the cops were coming. And I just remember I was like, man, this guy's seen some stuff, man. That's crazy, bro. Like, this fool got us in here in the snow, like, covering ourselves, and we're, like 6 or 4, bro. Like, and he's like, yeah, cover yourself. Yeah, at least that's how I remember it. Like, I remember it was like, wow, like, we could have got caught or whatever. Like, this would have been crazy. Like, yeah, so that's kind of what built my fear of cops and my trust. Oh, sorry, not just kidding. Now here I am trying to be an officer. Oh, sorry. Okay, just don't clip me. Don't clip me. Don't clip that. Sorry.
Cut that out.
Cut that out. So we'll cut that out, yeah? We'll edit it.
Okay, what are some of your brothers like when you were growing up?
Oh, man. See, I remember my brothers cooking me, man. I just get cooked on the daily. Especially, I feel like that's the territory when it comes to being the youngest as well. Like, you just gotta be ready to get cooked. And so I remember one of my favorite memories is, I think, it was Jay and Dorian, I believe, and we were driving, and I was just being smart in the back or whatever. I was like in 6th grade. I was 12. And we were just driving, and I was just mouthing off, doing whatever. And then I was trying to sound smart. And I was like, I'm smart. And then I remember it was Dorian and Jay. They looked back at me, and they're like, you're so smart. Spell bomb. And I was like, bomb. B-O-M. And then, like, I was like all confident. And then I was like, wait, E. Yeah, I was all confident. I was like, all right then. Well, I'll just keep that one to myself. Yeah. And I remember that always came up after that. Yeah, I was so confident. I was like, B-O-M-E. And they just laughed at me. They were dying. So yeah. It was super messed up, but I just remember getting cooked too. And then Singy too. Singy would always gaslight me when he'd help me with my homework and stuff. Like, bro, the amount of times I had to see and him drop my pencil and like shake his head in disappointment, like. And now it's just like, it's funny because I get to see our younger nephew Braxton. I get to see him go through it now, and it's just like night and day when I look at him, like, and he reacts the same way too. So it's like funny. I still see the things that like my brothers do, that like my memories, like it's still living on. It's crazy. It's just the wheel, man. The wheel's spinning. I'm just getting older. Just a new generation.
What about your parents?
Oh, my parents. Frig. Let me think of one. Man, Honestly, I gotta say, my parents always just took me to church. Like, honestly, I have to say it's that, bro. I would just go into church with my mom and dad. Like, I remember we'd all get ready, and I remember my dad, when he'd see me get ready, it'd be the, fix your face. Fix your face before I fix it for you. And I'll be like, wow, all right. Yeah, okay. But I remember even mom, too. Mom, like, it'd be like an hour before you gotta be at church. And this lady's there like 2 hours early, like getting us ready at like churches at like 8. And she's waking us up at like 6:30. Like, we're gonna be late. I was like, damn. Well, yeah, I gotta say about like my first, they definitely instilled that for sure. For sure.
What's your favorite part about like being a part of the family, like being in this family specifically?
Man, honestly, I feel like our family, it's just the fun that goes on. Like, I always feel like when I'm on this side, I feel like I'm missing out. And that's pretty crazy to feel like when you're like somewhere else, like completely secluded from family. And I was just kind of thinking about you guys too, and you were living out here in Hawaii. Like, how hard it is to we got to go back to Utah and like make new friends. That's kind of how it was for me. It's like now that I'm where I'm at and like experiencing what I'm experiencing, it's kind of like, wow, like family really is everything. Like, you come to realize like, oh, like literally, like, you just don't realize like how it, like, priceless a plane ticket could be. Like, it's like, dang, like, man, I wish I had enough money so I could just fly and just, like, spend time with family. Like you figure out, like, oh, like, do I have any paid time off? Like, you start trying to, like, figure out ways that you can spend, like, what you already had, you know? So just, like, growing up, like, I feel like that's the best thing this family has instilled in me, is, like, it's just family over everything. Like, it really is, like, at the end of the day, like, it's everything. So, like, to be a part of this family especially, everything.
Who was the most influential person in your life as a kid?
Man, see, in terms of development, I have to go, like, influential, like, well, someone who I find, like, influenced me at the time of when I was growing up was definitely my brother Jay. And, like, anybody, if he's already done his interview, you can probably tell why he's the favorite. Because, like, he was honestly the one that was there for me when I was developing at, like, my most important stage, which I think is my teenage years. Like, he was the only one in St. George, Utah at the time. And at the time, he lived right behind the high school I was going to. So that was literally my connect anytime I didn't want to go home. Because my mom, she would love for me to go to school. And she, like, definitely was like, oh, yeah, I'll take you to school, whatever. I missed the bus, I'll take you. But it was just the coming home part that I was just not about. Like, I would jump the fence to get over. So the field, our high school, where you had to walk, like, probably, like, not even, like, half a mile. But then I would jump the fence, and Jay's house would just be right there. And so at times where, like, school, like, our boys are having parties, or, like, you know, there were functions going on, or, like, there was high school stuff that was going on, I would stay at Jay's house, walk over to the high school, like, do my thing, and then I would come back to Jay's house. And it was just because I lived, like a 35-minute drive away from everybody else. So I definitely got to say it was him, just because, you know, it seemed like during my teenage years, I was turning to him, telling him about stuff that I really wasn't telling anybody else. And, like, he was just so influential to me, like, as a kid, that I was just, like, because he got it. Like, he understood, like, the things I was going through. He understood, like, man, like, dude, he doesn't want to be at home. Like, he used to take me out, too. Like, I literally used to, like, laugh, because I was like, man, it's almost like this dude's taking me on dates right now just to get me out the house. Like, because he would come, he would tell mom where we were going, and then I'd go with him, and it was, like, no problem. But anytime, like, I had a friend that would come and grab me, mom would be like, where you at? Where you at? And I'd be like, dang, all right, okay. Yeah, so I definitely got to say it was my brother Jay at the time, because I really looked up to him. I really respected, you know, the way he was treating me at the time, like, because, you know, just adolescence and all that.
What was what's one of your favorite high school memories?
Oh, man. Oh, man. High school memories. Jeez. Nah, I just remember... I remember me and my friends, like, we only had one of us get our license. This is whoever needs to hear this, get your license, man. Get your freaking license, your driver's license. Because, like, at the time, it was me and, like I said, my only poly boys. And we only had one fool who could drive. my boy Irie, still my day one to this day. But literally, we, like, would shrink up into his freaking, like, I don't remember if it was like this. It was like this, like, 1990, like, Honda Civic, bro. And it was like 6 big Usos, just like all like squeezed up in his car. Like, and we would just try to go to places we couldn't afford. And it was just like, because other people were there. It was honestly because females were there. Like, we would just go there and like not be eating, just hanging out. And we'd be like, damn, bro. Like, and then this guy would just be like, oh man, you guys got gas money after? It's like, wow, that's crazy. No,
like, oh,
you
no.
know this. Yeah, he was like, you already know this, man. So honestly, like, just like from high school, I just remember it was just, he was the only one with the license. And like anywhere we went, we would just like cram up in his car. We looked like clowns coming out, man. There was one time we were pulling out of a party and this officer, lucky thing he didn't see us get in, because the amount of us getting in, and like he was like, all right, anybody in this car, sit on the curb. There's like 12 of us on the curb and he didn't say anything. I was like, it's crazy, man. But yeah, I definitely gotta say that was one of my funnier memories from high school.
Did you play sports in high school?
I did play sports in high school. I played football and rugby. And then one sport I did wish I played was baseball, but here we are again.
Were you good?
I don't know. I see, because it definitely comes up to comparison of what you know? Because, like, I feel like in anything, it's kind of, there are people that are better, you know? And luckily for me, that I had my brothers, from what I hear and what I can tell, they're more physically gifted than I am. And I don't know, some form of mentally gifted. But wild. No, anyways, but yeah, they were blessed. They were gifted. Yeah, I'll say that, because all my brothers, they played high school, the rugby, football. They played even collegiate level football, and even one of them on the highest level of collegiate football, which is Division 1, which, like, I think only like 12% of all athletes go Division 1, which is a huge feat for him, you know, because, like, that is, like, prime time, you know, top tier, like, their S tier of their group. So, like, the fact that I had a mentor, like, not only a brother, but a mentor at that stage who, like, had competed at that stage, like, I definitely feel like I was ahead of the game just because of that. Because, like, I looked up to his style of play. I looked up to all my brother's style of play, really, because my whole family, they played defensive positions. And so that's kind of like, you know, what runs in the family is defense. And so I was blessed enough to have some of those men coach me, like, while I was on my journey of, you know, football and things like that. But yeah, I definitely would say I wouldn't say I'm good. I definitely would say I'm just as blessed and fortunate as, like, my other brothers when it comes to not only physical attributes, but just an understanding of, you know, football itself. I feel like I had a head start with, you know, the brothers I have.
We've heard some stories about, you know, the older brothers getting into fights in school, in college, in high school.
Outside of all of that.
What are some of your stories?
Man,
Have you ever gotten into any fights?
Bro, the ops are crazy right now. That is unreal. That was not in the question part.
Nope.
Unreal. On the fly now, are we? On the fly. Oh, man. I got a few, but honestly, I gotta say, a lot of the fights that I have been in, it's not anything near towards, like some of the fights that I've heard my brothers are in, you know? Because, like, they've escalated to a point where it's like all of them, 7 of them, they get together, and I feel like they're not that smart together, man. Like when it comes to planning with these fools, man, like, so I could imagine them getting in fights, because I feel like they'd forget about one guy. Like fighting still fighting in the parking lot, aka your dad. I'm sorry. Like, no, and, like, for me, like, I had friends who were like, they would talk the talk, but when it came to, like, walking the walk, they would look at the biggest guy in our group, which is unfortunately me and one of my other cats, you know? So, like, it was always funny to see, like, there were times where we would get pressed at the park or something like that, or, like, people would be playing too physical in basketball and stuff, and my friends would look at me, and, like, we'd be getting ready, like, we'd be like, what's up? And then it's just the same story, just people backing up and stuff, and, like, for me, it was, like, anytime it got to a point where like things escalated to where it was fighting, like I just feel like I am fortunate enough to say that like it's never escalated to fists. It's always just been a couple looks up and down, and they're like, nah, we're good. Like, we're good. I'm good. Like, and like for me, it took enough of that, like for me and my friends, that like, and we're in an area where it was like not really like unpopular to be Polynesian or be like, you know, like at least as it was back then, you know, just coming fresh off the boat. So like in the area I was, like people were, you know, fearful of Polynesians. Like they respected them. Like they just knew those were the best athletes in town. Those were like producing some of like those kids are producing high school championships out here, you know. So like for me, it was never like even in question of like, oh, are we gonna roll up on those boys? Like, are we gonna fight those boys? Like it was always just we just did what we kind of wanted, and really the repercussions weren't like ever physical like that.
Was there specific stories?
Oh man.
Like, okay, what was the biggest one?
Man, I gotta say, just in football, I remember like we were in a semifinal game, and I literally had to my head coach pulled me into his office, and he was telling me that I had to sit out for our quarterfinal game because he was it was one of our games. He just told me I had to sit out because they had footage of like everybody at the so and I thought this was one of our games that wasn't being filmed, and there's just footage of me in the football, and I'm just like throwing hands with like just like 12 other like players. Like I don't even know who they are. I just remember I made a play, I got up, and then just hands were flying everywhere. I got a specific story with your dad in it though that was pretty crazy. It's unfortunate, but it's true. But we went to church ball. Like church organized basketball, and it was me and my team. It was we had a couple popular guys on there. It was it was all the school boys from they're like all in the NFL now. So like we were blessed. Our all Psalm 1 Bloomington Ward like church we go to. It's like it just had like a bunch of crazy athletes, and we made a church ball team, and we got to the finals, which is like the first time ever. Like it was a big deal because like I remember we rolled up and our whole church congregation was there, and we were like, damn, this is a big deal. But there was a time where we were down, and so the rules were you couldn't play high school basketball. Like that was the rules. But the team that pulled up, all these dudes played high school basketball. And it was just us like big poly kids who were just throwing it to the tallest, biggest kid we had, and he was just like destroying these small, tiny like kids. It was pretty messed up, but that was like our style of play. So, like, when we were playing organized basketball, like, there was a part where our coach, he was like, go foul him. And the kid on our team, he wasn't fouling. And so I just ran up, and I just destroyed this kid. And the whole crowd stopped. And I remember your dad, Dorian, he just came, he rushed, and he grabbed me by my jersey. And, like, he literally, like, walked me out like a dog with my jersey, bro. Like, I'm, like, hanging on my neck from my jersey, and he walks me out. And he's like, what are you doing? This is a church organized basketball. And I was like, I remember I was in the parking lot, and I was like, man, he's right. Like, it's not that deep, bro. Like, I'm over here, like, I don't even get a medal or nothing. Like, if anything, like, we're just gonna pray after this and nobody's gonna care. But, like, here I am treating it like it's an Olympic medal, bro. Like, yeah, dude. So I remember that was one of the funny stories. I was like, man, I was really about to, like, beat up this kid for no reason. For church ball. Like, for church ball. That's crazy. Yeah.
Did you know what you wanted to do after high school? Like, did you know that you wanted to go on a mission? Did you want to go to college? What did you want to do?
So I definitely gotta say, I feel like when I went on my mission, it was at a time that was enough for me to understand what my dad wanted. Like, it was like, and like, I felt like my dad, he had a scare. He went into cardiac arrest. He was in the ICU for like, and like, he literally was not breathing by himself. Like, he was breathing through a machine. And I remember the doctors at the time, they brought all me and my brothers, my siblings together, and they explained to us that either we can pull the plug or we can operate, but the operation, it's going to be like almost like less than 10% chance, you know? And like, he's basically just explaining to us that like, it's either we do the operation or we pull the plug now. And so, you know, we all agreed that we would put him on the operation, and like, they knew that the hopes weren't very high, even though we were paying for the operation. And so the operation gets done, and he comes back better than ever. And I got at least like another good like 2 years with my dad. And so I remember I felt I felt so lucky that I had that warning or kind of that time to like realize like, wow, like my dad is really old and like I could have lost him today, but I didn't. And so I remember at the time I thought of myself like, what would make my dad proud? And I remembered, like I shared, you know, like he always would take us to church and they always kind of would, you know, impress that like they wanted young men to go out there and share the word of God and stuff. And so I remember at the time that's what my dad, he was most impressed with. Like he came to all my games and everything. But when it came to church, my man did not mess around. Like he was like, it was like football games, like college football games. I remember too, like Division I football games you would get ready to go to. My dad would just be like cruising, like all late. Like he did not have a care in the world. Like he was not about it. He did not care. But when it came to like anything church related, like anything like the ward was doing, like the congregate, he was, bro, he was quick. Like we was there like 2 hours early. Like I was like, what the heck? Yeah. So like I definitely gotta say that's something that I feel like was instilled in me, like, from my dad. I was like, oh, like what I want to do is, like, make my dad proud because obviously, like, I'd done what I needed to do in football. Like I knew at that time that I was like, okay, like this is probably as good as it gets for me. Like, and like to have, like, realistic brothers, too. Like, brothers who I know, like, are, like, what it takes and stuff, you know? And so, like, to see, like, opportunity like that, like, I was like, okay, like, if this isn't, like, something I'm truly passionate about, like, the way these people are, like, there's no way I know I'm going to want to do it for the rest of my life, you know? Because when something turns into, like, a job and you're not passionate about it, like, it just comes work, bro. That's work. That's literally, yeah. And so I definitely was, like, at that time in my life, I was like, what's something that I need to do that's, like, A, going to make my parents proud, like, B, going to be something, like, I think is going to be beneficial to me, you know, like, spiritual-wise or whatever. And then, like, see, like, it's literally, like, I was going to gain some, like, independence, you know, because you do, when you serve a mission, you go out for 2 years, you know, and don't go, and I went to a foreign area, which was Fiji, and, like, it's literally, it's a whole thing where you're dynamic, where it's just you and another, you know, companion or whoever you go out with and you serve together, and it's just trying to learn, like, a whole new dynamic of, like not a home dynamic, but like a partnership dynamic. Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely got to say.
What was your favorite memory?
Oh, favorite memory from the mission?
Yeah.
Oh man, definitely. It was funny because when I did serve a mission, it was a thing we called hide and seek, and it's just like something where you know missionaries, they come to your door. They do the whole robotic thing, and you kind of think it's, like, they're really weird. And, like, that's what I had felt. Like, before I went on my mission, I was like, what I don't want to be is a robot. Like, I want to be someone that people are like, you know what, that guy looks okay. I'll talk to him just because, like, he looks, like, talkative, you know, not because, like, he's forcing me to stand here and listen to him, and it's so awkward and I can't get out of it, you know. And so I remember, like, at the time, I was like, okay, like, that's something I'm going to focus on is, like, not being robotic, like, just being genuine. And there was times where, like, we would try and, like, walk up to people, and they would run away. And we would literally, like, make it a game, and we go look for them. Like, we would just be like, you know what, let's see how close we can get to these people, like, before they start moving. And we just, like count our steps and be like, oh, they started running away at about 25 feet. And we try and get closer and closer, like, as we went. And it just got so funny because, like, the lengths that people went to avoid us was so funny, bro. Like, Like, there was this Thursday, like, I knocked on this one door, and I got my buddy behind me, and I'm like, yeah, like, we're just going around sharing a message regarding, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys, like, no, we're leaving right now, nobody's home, and we're like, oh, you guys are leaving right now?
Renz arrived. Hold on.
Unreal, am I getting interrupted right now? The disrespect is crazy. It's crazy right now. Tell them to wait their turn. What was I saying again?
There was a guy. No, you were saying that
nobody listening. Wow. You were saying your life story?
Door, and you were telling them.
Oh, yeah.
We're here to share the message.
Oh, yeah. And he was telling us, he was like, so we knock on this guy's door, and he's like, oh, sorry, guys. Like, I can't sit down right now. Like, I'm actually leaving right now. And we look in the door, and there's like a whole family in there. I'm like, oh, you're leaving right now? And he's like, yeah, right now. And so me and my guy were like, oh, okay. That's fine. We're just going to be hanging out here for a little bit. And we just camped out in front of this guy's house. And he literally just got everybody. He looked so mad. And he got everybody in his house to get ready, leave, just so he could avoid us. And it was so funny because me and my girlfriend were like, bro, this guy's not going anywhere. He's just waiting us out. And so we wait like 30 minutes, like an hour. And he's still gone. And we're just like sitting there. And we're like, okay, guys, I think I'm ready to go. We're walking. Bro, he literally drove down the street, turned the corner. And we passed like his car full of people just like chilling in the car. And we were like knocked out his window. We were like, oh, what's up, guys? And they were like all embarrassed. But I remember that was a memory. I was like, bro, this is unreal right now. This is so funny. Yeah.
What was your favorite place on your mission?
Oh, man. Dang, I gotta say, this place called Corvo. It's towards the Nandi side of Big Fiji. And literally, like, I was in this little box hut at the time. Like, me and my other companion, he was a local. My other companion, he was a local from Fiji. And so, but he was from a different province. And so he literally, we were in this like little, it was like literally a bathroom, like a studio apartment, like bathroom, like literally just this tiny hole in the wall on the mountain. And I just remember it was so sick because every morning we'd wake up, we'd just be like on our little flat, and it literally just goes down into a bunch of farms. But we're like the first little tiny box house you sit in. And I just remember every morning we would catch the sunrise and it would just beam right through and just be the mountains and like all the farms and stuff. And I remember I was just like, wow, this is like the most beautiful place on earth. And then I remember telling myself that. And like to this day, like I think about it, I can see it and I'm like, wow, like that is the most beautiful place I've ever been on earth.
Did you have a favorite companion?
I did. I have to say it was that local companion just because he knew the ropes and everything. And like literally I remember I met him and the first thing we were talking about is like, oh, what did you want to do before the mission? And he had told me like before anything, he was like, man, I want to play for the international rugby sevens team. And I was like, no way. Literally came home from my mission, like not even 2 years later, he's on the international rugby team. Like I literally saw him like on the rugby network, and I was like, no way, like that's so crazy. Like that dude literally put that out there, put in the work, and now he's at the national level. So like just to like hear it, like and like hear like his testimony and like how he felt about like his dreams and like the church and stuff was like crazy personal to me to like see him on TV like doing exactly what he said. I was like, wow, don't see that often.
What was life when you came back for you?
Ooh. I definitely gotta say another learning moment because you just leave and you gain so much independence that anything that helps you dependently, you kind of take advantage of, you know? Like I know when I got home, like I went on my mission and I missed my mom so much, God bless her heart, but like I was surrounded by people that like reminded me of home, like still had culture that was like mine, like the Polynesian and Fijian culture all mixes like indifferently. But, like, I remember when I was there, I didn't have a hard time, like, you know, having someone that felt like my mom, having someone that felt like my brother, because they were Polynesian and they just understood, you know? And it's not like I was ever alone, too. So I definitely feel like, for me, when, like, it came to my mission, it was influenced by, like, all the same people that, I acted like how I was raised accordingly, you know? Like the people that raised me, like, when I was out there, it never felt like I was alone necessarily. It just felt like I was just a part of a bigger family than the one I'm used to, you know?
So this might be backtracking a little bit, but we're going to finally get into it. Did you know that you're adopted?
I did not.
I didn't. No, I'm just kidding. When did you find out?
Nah.
When did you find out that you were adopted? I gotta
say, I remember finding out I was adopted when I was... I think again when I was in the 6th grade. It was in the 6th grade. I remember my parents brought me out. And I had ideas, like, beforehand when I was younger that had come up, you know, scenarios where, like, people would ask me why my last name was different from, like, my original family name. And so I remember I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know why. Like, that's just the way my last name is. And, like, I never really connected the dots until 6th grade. And so my family was, like, they sat me down and they just had to explain to me that, like, they were going to legally change my name. And I needed to, like, before a court judge, like, provide him with, like, the reassurance that, like, that's what I really wanted. And so I remember we sat down, they told me. And I don't know, I feel like I was kind of just being a whole dramatic about the whole thing. Especially when I had, like, an idea that I had already kind of known, too. Like, because, like, you go your whole life and I was like, oh, okay, like, my last name's different. Like, you start to catch on, like, when you hit 12, you know? And so I remember when I was sitting there, I was just kind of like, wow, like I kind of always knew, but at the same time, it hurts to know that like someone didn't watch you at first, you know? Like that like, even though like I know my life is guaranteed 100 times better, you know? Like for the best, like I was born into like a loving home, like bless my mother's heart, bless my dad's heart, like my brothers, like they're all older than me. It's like I grew up with like 7 dads basically, you know? It's not even like I'm ever alone, but I feel like at that time it's definitely, oh shoot, sorry. My bad. What was I saying, bro? My bad. What was that? Sorry. My thing dropped and it hit my pizza and I got worried about my pizza. Sorry.
We were just asking, like, if it was hard for you, or did you feel some type of way when you found out?
Oh.
Like,
were you ever curious about like your birth parents and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like the curiosity wasn't there as much. Like especially after I knew, because like I can understand that like my life right now, like I wouldn't change a thing right now. Like I feel like I'm at that point of life. It's like you grow through what you grow through. It doesn't really matter. I actually heard this quote the other day. It was pretty crazy. I don't know. Anyway, it was talking about water, and it was talking about like how like you go where you're valued. Yeah, like you go where you're valued. Like water, like a smart water bottle. Like you put it in like a convenience store. It's like That's like $2, $1, right? But then if you put that same smart water in like a hotel, it's like $10. Like, you know, it's more expensive. And then you put that same water in like an airplane, like that's like $20 now, you know? Like you put it in Disneyland, that's like freaking $50 an arm, you know? Like but it's the same water. And like that's just kind of what I'm saying. It's kind of that lesson that I learned, that like I went somewhere where like I feel like I grew up with a great childhood, great standards, great morals, great ethics, and like I couldn't imagine where I'd be without like the people that raised me, the people that chose me. So like at the time it made me feel like A, like man, like somebody didn't want me at first, but B, like it doesn't matter anyways, because like I'm with people that have made me the man I am today, and I'm pretty damn proud of him, you know? Like it's like there is, if you don't like start realizing like where you come from and how you were raised, I feel like that's what really develops that relationship. And like for me to think about like biological mom and stuff like that, it just never resonated with me. I've never been like, oh, like I want to know who they are, like I want to, because like they had that opportunity, you know, to like want to know who I am. And so the fact that like I have that like chip on my shoulder where I just know my parents chose me and like they gave me this life, like it just makes me feel like I owe them everything that times more, you know? Like it's like my parents, like my brothers always joke around, but like they literally tell them like they always tell me that like my dad just showed up at the airport one day with me in his hands and a stroller, and they were like, that's not a suitcase, that's a stroller and a full-on baby. And they just asked him I remember my mom always says, like she asked my dad how he took care of me when I was on the plane, because they had no idea that he was coming back with the baby, and he told them that the flight attendants helped him. And I was like, dude, what the heck? That is wild. Like, so just, I don't know. It just kind of makes me feel like blessed. Like, nothing but blessed, because, like, the fact that he put me, like, in this situation I'm at right now, like nothing can happen without it ever, you know, original, like, starting somewhere. So the fact that he chose me to be his youngest son, even though, like, he already had a younger son, like, it makes me feel, like, yeah, like, a true love of a parent, I guess you would say, now that I understand what it's like to be one.
Speaking of blessings, who is your partner?
Oof.
And how did you meet her?
Dude, literally because of my mission, I met my partner, my real eternal companion. So my wife's name is Deandra Tupe, and basically me and my wife, do you just want to know her name, or do you want to know like our story or anything like that?
No,
we want to know your story.
The whole thing.
Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, no, I met my wife. So my wife, she also served her mission, but she served her mission in my hometown area where I was going to high school at the time, which is St. George, Utah. And so I had served my mission in Fiji. I had just gotten done with my mission, and I was doing my homecoming talk, and that's like your report that you share with your congregation once you get home from serving, and you just tell them how it went. And so I served in Fiji, and I remember coming, and And my parents had moved while I was away on my mission. So they had me in this random new congregation, and they wanted me to speak to these random people that I've never met before. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna leave. I want to speak to the congregation I originally left with, which was in St. George, Utah at the time, because my family had moved to Moroni, Utah. And so when we went back down to do my homecoming, it was probably like a full month after I got home on my mission already. Like, I had been home for a while, but they just wanted to hear my report because I hadn't reported to any congregation, because I was like, I'm not going to talk to some random people. And so at the time, D'Angelo was serving in my hometown congregation ward as a missionary. And I didn't even realize it because I was giving my report from my mission when I had gotten home, and I'm sitting there on the stand that, you know, basically you stand on to speak to everybody in the congregation. And I'm sitting there on the stand getting ready to do my report, and I see her and another girl walk in. And I remember she was wearing this tan polka dot dress, and she had this long curly hair. And I remember it was like the church doors opened up, and like her hair was just blowing, and I was like, wow, literally like a movie type thing, bro. I'm telling you. I remember at the time I was thinking in my head, I was like, bro, our ward has stepped its game up. Like, it was crazy. Like I was literally hype. I was like, oh, let's go. Like, man, like our young women are blessed. Amen. Yeah, no, anyways. Yeah, so I remember seeing her, and like I go up there, I do my whole talk and stuff. I talk about, you know, how my mission went in Fiji, my experiences, like the things I reported. And then after that, I remember, and beforehand, they were like the only two in the congregation at the very beginning. And like I still didn't realize she was a missionary then. Like, and I was like, you know, throwing looks too, like hardcore flirting Gen Z, bro. Like I was like like, yeah, dude, it was crazy. And so I was peeping looks and stuff, and then I give my report to the whole congregation. We're all talking, and then I remember it was her companion, her friend, like literally after I had just gotten done, like for a full hour, like bearing my soul to this congregation about my time in Fiji, like, and how I served the people. Like, just after I got done, her companion walks up to me, like the person she was serving with at the time in that area. Her companion walks up to me, and she's like, oh my gosh, did you serve in Fiji? And I was like, bro, no, I just lied the whole time I was up there. Like, I was just kidding. Like, this was all a huge joke. Like, I didn't. Like, after I just, like, was, like, crying on the stand, like, talking about the people of Fiji and how I served them and stuff. And so I just thought it was so dumb. Like, I thought her companion was, like, so dumb. I was like, bro, like, I literally just got done, like, bearing my soul, and you want to come up at her? Did you serve it? Like, you weren't listening. Yeah, and so I remember that's what I first thought of her companion. And now, you know, now that we're married, she had let me know that, like, her companion, like, since she was almost done with her mission, she was looking for, you know, prospects on her list. And so I had just finished my mission, and so that's when I met my wife. And I had asked her, I said, oh, so you're serving? And, like, she had told me, you know, she gets to explaining to me, and then she finally explains to me that she had only been on her mission for, like, 3 weeks. Like, she had just started. And I had just finished my service. And so it was kind of like a situation of, like, wow, like, I'll never see you again. That's crazy. Like, we will not see each other again. Like, I've done a long 2 years. You're doing a long 1.5 years. Like, it's going to be a long time. Yeah. And so, and it was at that time she had a boyfriend too. So it wasn't anything like so crazy, but I remember that I had looked at her and I had like felt feelings of like crazy attraction. And like, but like, then again, like the sign she was giving, cause I talked to her, like, she was my initial like prey. She was my initial target. You know what I'm saying? Like out of what we had to offer. No, just kidding. But like, I remember I was like, this is crazy. Like this girl is like just starting her mission. And so I thought nothing of it. She had a boyfriend at the time, come to find out. And so time goes by, I say about 2 years. And then, you know, you go through the dating phase, which is just a giant mess. You know, just definitely a learning environment out there in the streets. But, you know, and then eventually there's one night, oh man, I gotta tell the story. I was with my friends, and like, it was Valentine's Day. It was Valentine's Day, bro. And, like, you know, being alone on Valentine's Day, you know how you be, bro. You know how it be, bro. When you're alone on Valentine's Day, there's only one friend, bro. There's only one friend. Alcohol. Sorry. Bro, literally. And so I remember it was me and my buddies, and we were all just like, oh yeah, it's all Valentine's. It sucks. Like, we're all single. All some of us got like relationship issues or whatever, and so we're all like, let's go for it. Yeah, bro. And basically, like, I was donezo. Like, I was gone. And like, I literally was just like, at the point where I was like, you know what? Every time I would call family, bro. I was like, I'm gonna call family, bro. Like, literally, I don't know what it is about what happens in your brain when you get messed up, but it be telling you, call family, call family. And I remember I was looking up Dorian's name, and I couldn't type Dorian's name, and so I was like, you know what? I'll just look up Auntie Andrea. But I look up Auntie Andrea, and while I'm typing in Auntie Andrea, Deandra pops up. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is that sister that like, and it was Valentine's Day too, so I was simping super hard, bro. And I was like blast to the past too, like gone 3 ways to the wind, bro. And my idea was like, oh, I'll just call her and it won't be creepy at all that like I haven't said anything to like her in like over like 2 years or whatever. Like it'll be all cool. Like sure, it'll be whatever. I call and literally like come to find out she was just staring at the phone the whole time when I was calling. But thank goodness she didn't answer because I was freaking like I would have looked so creepy, bro, just calling her, and it's like 3 a.m. her time here and I'm trying to call and like brizz it up. But yeah, so luckily she doesn't answer the phone call. Next day, I wake up to her message, and it's just like, did you call? And you already know I hit her with the 2000s high school. I was like, sorry, my cousin grabbed my phone or whatever, acting up, bro. I had to hit him with the 2000s. I was like, my cousin grabbed my phone or whatever. And I was like, no, I don't know. And like, so she knows I'm lying, obviously. Like, she like, I feel like it was so, like, when I look back at the text, I was like, damn, it is so obvious I'm full of shit right now. I'm trying to play it off. I'm like, yeah, my cousin Braxton or my nephew Braxton touched my phone or whatever, and he was trying to call, but my bad. And then basically, man, should I pull up the live text right now? Should I read them out?
Yeah.
Because the boy's Riz is too crazy right now. Hold on, let me find it. Like, I literally took a screen recording of like everything, and I was like, man, this is gonna come in handy, bro. The amount of Riz I was laying down, because it was long distance at the time too, because I was in Utah and she was obviously in Hawaii at the time. And like, I hit her up on Facebook at first, which is like what you only use for like distant family. And so I was just like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird, we're talking on Facebook. So I got her Snapchat after that, and then eventually it just progressed to video calls and video dates. And then I came out here to visit her. And I remember when I first came out to visit, it was for my birthday. I literally spent my birthday, and I was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna come visit this girl that I've been talking to for a while, and she's like literally everything I want in a partner too, while we were talking online, while we were doing long distance. And like, I feel like it's crazy enough to the point where like, if you guys are sleeping together on the phone, like, I gotta get out here, man. Like, this is crazy. I'm simping out here for nothing right now. And so we had like been planning. We're like, oh yeah, we'll meet up this time. But like, we just never did. Like, we were always like, yeah, we'll meet up here, and it was just hit and miss. Oh, hold up. Yeah, it was hit and miss. And then I remember one day she was telling me like, you know what, you should just quit your job, put in your 2 weeks, and then just come out to see me. And I literally was just like, all right, bet. Like, bet. I literally like didn't even, I just told my boss, I was like, yeah, I need to put in my 2 weeks. Like, I'm getting ready to leave. It's my birthday. And he was like, well, okay, whatever. Signs off, whatever. Didn't show up for the last week, you know what it is. Your boy's a menace, bro. Your boy's a menace out here, bro. They do not give a damn about you. Anyways, yeah, so I literally quit my job. I fly out here. I meet like all her family, and the way that me and Deandra really connected to, like on a different level, is she had lost her father as soon as she had gotten home. I think literally 2 days before she got home, she lost her father. And so like, just the connection of like me losing my dad before my mission, and like her losing her like right before my mission, and her losing her dad like right as soon as she got done with her mission. It was like, we just connected a lot because we had the same points of like what it feels like to like, you know, have loss, and like especially someone in like the family dynamic that holds like real structure, you know. and we just like could relate on like the feelings of like what it feels like to be surrounded by like, you know, loss and things like that, and like firsthand what like that feels like. And so I remember we connected on such a level that like we developed like literally like it felt like we had known each other the whole time, because like I feel like it's really hard to kind of get like Polynesian sense of humor, especially like when you're hanging out with people that like don't understand like, or they don't think like what certain things are funny, you know what I'm saying? And so like just like for her to like react in like a female perspective, it just was like so refreshing to me, because all my nieces are like that, you know? Like all my nieces have like crazy attitude. All my nieces like will like call you out on all your BS, like. And like I remember like at the time I'd never experienced that with a female like the way I experienced it with Deandra, because like I remember like it was more like, oh my god, my dad's being such a dick, and I was just like, oh, okay. All right, like girls you'd hang out with, they'd just be snobs and stuff, and I was just like, I remember when I was talking to Deandra, we were just like, man, it's like so nice to know like you don't gotta explain like that you need to put an EA on, or you need to like, you know, things of the culture that like you just don't have to explain because they grew up in it, you know? And so I think for me, like having someone like Deandra who's like so deep rooted in her culture and like surrounded by it every day. She works at PCC, like the Polynesian Culture Center, like, and like she dances in there stuff. And so it's like kind of firsthand you get to see like how much impact it kind of has on you growing up, like especially for you guys too, like already knowing being Polynesian, and like Utah's becoming such like a Polynesian destination too, like I feel like I see new ones every day, bro, like literally every day going in and out of Utah. But I that's where I feel like that dynamic comes in though.
How did you know that she was like the one that you wanted to marry? Just that?
Man, I definitely have to say like not only our connection, but I like just the way she makes me feel. Like she literally makes me feel like home. Like how do I explain? Like it's definitely something like reassuring when you have someone who like actually communicates, you know, which I feel like is like a big thing. Like you like in the dating world, you don't really learn how to communicate. And it was crazy because like I heard literally my wife was showing me this saying, and it was talking about how like this like wise Hindu wisdom. He was talking about how when people yell, it's because their hearts are so far apart from each other that like they feel they have to build up all this emotion and they have to yell because they're being so distant. And he talks about how it works like vice versa. Like you can literally be in a room with the person you love and like you can just smile, not even say a word, and like they can understand you. And like that's kind of like what Deandra makes me feel like. She makes me feel like I never have to like yell to express myself. And like I feel like other relationships that you're in, like that's all you can do sometimes, you know? Like all you can do is just yell and like nobody hears you and nobody like reaches out or anything. And so like that's not a relationship to me. That just makes you feel like really independent. And like I feel like that's how you kind of build walls. And like I feel like the worst kind of gaslighters too are like the people that like buy you gifts and then like they expect that to like make up for their behavior too. Like that's like, so like just like experiencing like just a few of those things, like it made me feel like Deandra like was actually like the person only made for me and my specific design. Like the way I see things, like we see eye to eye, not all the time, but like on most things we just come from the same background, the same humor, like the same everything, where it's like we can relate on a level of like, okay, same page. And that's just the dynamic that works for us, you know? Like everybody's different, but for me, like me knowing her, she was the one, was just like knowing myself enough to like let her see all my flaws. Like not gonna expose myself now, but like I never used to take off my shoes in front of anyone. Anyone, bro. My feet would like, you know this, man. You know this. And I literally took them off in front of her, and she didn't say nothing, bro. She didn't say nothing. She was so nice. Yeah, she was so nice, I feel like. And like, I know what my feet smell like. Like, after a long day, like, I know what it smells like. And I remember when I let my dogs loose, and my wife smelled it, I thought she was gonna leave me. Like, I forgot. I was like, dang, I forgot how bad it was. But she like didn't even react. She was like so cool about it, whatever. And like I remember before we had even met, she was like, I can't, like we were talking online or whatever, and she was like, I can't wait till we hold hands. And I was like, I got the clammiest, wettest hands you will ever meet, bro. Like, anytime I shake anybody's hands, I have to lie and said I just got some hand sanitizer. Like, it is that bad out here, bro. Yeah, so just the little things that, like, my vulnerabilities that, like, you know, made me feel self-conscious, made me feel self-aware. She kind of, like, lowered those things for me. Like, I don't even care. Like, I grab my wife's hand whenever now, like, clammy or not. Like, it doesn't matter. And that's just something that I wasn't regulated to in other relationships, you know? Like, it was, like, I felt like I was, like, living behind a mask, living behind a shadow because, like, there were uncomfortable things about me that I wasn't willing to share with other people because, like, I didn't think they were, like, of that quality, you know? Yeah, but I definitely knew she was the one after that. After those couple of experiences, I was just like, bro, if she can tolerate this, sign me up. And she looks like this, sign me up, bro. Like, yeah, dude, I was not fumbling. I was not fumbling, for sure.
Okay, so bring it on around to your proposal story.
Ooh, proposal story. So, I came one more time. After my first time coming, I came for my birthday. And then my second time coming, it was for Christmas. And so when I came for Christmas, I remember I came with, like, the intention in mind of, like, I knew after the second time I came here, like, this was going to be my wife. And so there was times where, like on our proposal, like, before our proposal, I came the second time, and it was for Christmas and everything. And, like, by the second time, I had, like, confirmed that, like, this was the lady I want to make my wife. Because, like, it was just so much deep connection of me coming out here to Hawaii and, like, just literally just, like, seeing, like, her family. And I feel like that's what it takes to, like, really kind of plan for, like, your spouse you're picking is, like, oh, well, both our families, like, be at a barbecue and get along. And I just knew, like, 100% after meeting Deandra's family, I was like, bro, this is gang. Like, this is literally, like, my family. Like, this is literally what we do. And so it was just, like, kind of seeing the same dynamic, like, happening between both of our sides. I was just, like, literally, like, I want you to be my family. Like, I need you to be my family. Like, this is who I want to build my family with. Because, like, I am so blessed to, like, have the opportunities that I've had, be in the family I've had, because, like, you just hear other people's situations, it's just so, like, wow, like, I can't even relate to you, bro. Like, I love going home. Like, I love getting together with my family. And then you hear about people like, oh, I gotta go to my family. Like, oh, I gotta go visit family. I'm like, bro, like, you lucky you, bro. Like, if I could meet, like, anytime I hear my family's getting together, bro, I want to be there. Like, I'm like, wow, that's sick. Like, that's dope. Like, whatever. So, like, when I hear people saying stuff like, they're like, oh, yeah, we're not close. I'm like, man, thank God, bro. Like, thank God I'm Polynesian. Like, thank God, like, my family gets together almost, like, every gathering they have. Like, any chance we have. Like, yeah. But, yeah, I remember when I came out here and I found out she was the one and seeing her family and all that, I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, like, now that I got this out of the way, I got to ask the people that I need to get, permission from. And Deandra's father had already passed away. So she had other father figures that were her uncles that were, you know, just as loved as, like, her father is. And so I remember telling myself, like, okay, like, these are the people that I need to speak to. And then I remember it was so funny because, like, while that was on my mind, right before it was me and Deandra's mom. And she had invited me to go to the store with her. And this was, like, the biggest setup in history, bro. We're going, boom, right over to the side of the road, turns into this random parking lot. Literally, like, kidnaps me, bro. It's so funny, man. And she stops the car, and she puts it in park, and she just looks at me. And I remember she just goes, Lorenzo, do you want to marry my daughter? Like, just, like, flat out asked me. And I was just like, oh my. And I was like, I love your, like, and I basically just told her, like, I love your daughter. Like, your daughter makes me feel like the happiest man in the world. And I remember when I was talking to her, she was asking me, she says, so you know who you have to talk to, yeah? And I was like, I understand everybody I need to talk to. And she was like, good. And then in my head, like, during the conversation, I was like, man, you're the most important, but you're the most important person I need to talk to right now. Because, like, she had literally, like, basically kind of read my mind. Like, I feel like she just knew how in love I was with her daughter, and she could see, like, from Deandra's perspective, like, on this side, like, how in love she was with me. And so she just kind of knew the direction we were heading in, and we had both, like, you know, already knew what we both wanted. Like, we wanted a partner. We didn't want, like, anybody that was, like, gonna interfere or anything like that. Like, we wanted this to work. And so she just kind of knew, like, if we didn't do it now, like, it's gonna be so long, because I'm in Utah, you know, like, I'm literally in Utah, like, coming back and forth between Utah and Hawaii, like, just like nothing good is gonna happen with all the distance and stuff. And so she pulled me over, we talked, and then she literally took me to all her uncles after that. And then I just had to get the permission. It was so scary, bro. My heart was out of my chest. And then once I got the permission, I basically got her brother. Her brother helped me out with all these flower arrangements, all these decorations. I gotta say, bro, this dude set the bar, man. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, nice and simple. Like, oh yeah, we'll do this. He was like, the way he was saying it, it seemed super simple. And then when it came to, bro, I just came to, like, literally Narnia, bro. This man had flowers everywhere, bro. Like, and it's like, flowers are like $60 a bundle, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's like, when I just seen the amount of flowers and, like, seeing, like, all the lights that were set up, the signs, like, everybody that was there for Deandra, like, I couldn't help but just, like, literally, like, fall in love with her family too, like, which I feel like is so important nowadays. Like, like, you can love a person, but you need to love their family. Like, that's everything that makes them them. And, like, so when I just saw all that love that these people had for her, I was like, dude, I literally found the gold, bro. Like this is it. Like, I literally have, like, a woman who's, like, supported by her family, has dreams and goals, strong and independent, like, and so I just knew, like, right then and there, like, that this was gonna be something that, like, I wanted to make work, like, regardless of, like, anything that, like, so when it came to, like, making that decision of, like, do I want to spend my life with with this person for the rest of my life, like, that there kind of alone, like, reassured me, like, oh yeah, I'm making the right choice, and here I am.
So jumping forward, what was your favorite wedding memory? How did you feel about your wedding? Tell us about your wedding story too.
Oh man, wedding story. I feel like building up to our wedding, it was definitely, we were engaged for, like, a whole year. We were engaged. So it definitely was, like, a really long time until we really had to start planning, which we did kind of, like, get an idea, like, oh, like, where do we want to get married, like, the simple things. But I say once it came down to, like, the little details, bro, like, who was going to do this, who was going to do that, it did start getting stressful, because, like, trying to make calls within the Polynesian community, bro, where people don't ever answer their fucking phones, dude. It's unfreaking real, bro. It is literally unreal.
Oh, remember when you didn't answer our call, like,
dude, I know. Freak. Responsibility. A single mom who works 2 jobs. Oh, sorry. Dude, I was trying to put my kid down. Relax. Just let me use my kids as an excuse. Jeez. Nah. Our wedding was magical. I gotta say, man, like, again, bar was set, dude. Like, holy crap. Deandra's family knows how to decorate, knows how to, like, it was wild. Because we got married at the Utah State Capitol building, which I originally had seen a video of, like, people holding events there. And I told Deandra about it. And it was kind of like, we just knew after the first video, like, that's kind of where we wanted it to be. And so I remember that's where we wanted it, and, like, it looked nice enough. But, man, for our wedding reception, I gotta say, it looked like a movie to me, man. Like, from what I remember, it was like, I remember it like a movie. Like, I was like, damn, this is so nice right now. Like, everything looked so elegant, and it wasn't ever anything that I had truly thought about. Like, when I came to my wedding day, like, all I had thought about was, like, I'm gonna be with the person I love for the rest of my life, A, and B, I'm gonna dance my ass off to my playlist, you know? And so, like, I always told myself, like, that's what my wedding day is gonna be. So when I literally, like, took a minute, because, like, you know, everybody was like, yeah, breathe it in, like, it's only one night, your wedding night. And but it's so much. That's just what they don't tell you. It's literally just a blur. Because I remember, like, our wedding day, like, happening, and then, like, before you know it, you guys are just both so exhausted, bro. Like, you're so tired. Like, you're like, oh my goodness. Like, you just literally knock out. And so, like, for me, I gotta say the best memory is when me and Deandra, we were getting ready to leave. We were getting all ready to leave. And we were bride and groom. Like, this is my wedding. We're getting ready to leave, and, like, everybody's, like, almost gone, and our DJ, he literally asked us, he was like, oh, can you guys help us take our equipment out the car? And so I'm literally the bride and groom are the last ones at their wedding, pushing this, like, the DJ equipment outside to his van. And, like our wedding venue had, like, the most stairs, too. So, like, we're literally over here, like, hauling all this, like, heavy-ass DJ equipment at the end of the night. And I was just like, oh, my gosh, this is wild, bro. Like, I can't believe that we spent so much money just for us to be the last ones here. Like, pushing on this DJ equipment that we hired, like, crazy right now. I remember that was a memory. I was like, wow, that's too wild, man. I can't believe that happened.
How do you work through disagreements
Oof.
with your partner?
Man, how do I work through disagreements with my partner? Honestly, I gotta say, it's the same thing. It's just communication, man. Like, I feel like any disagreements, like, any, like, I don't know. Because disagreements, for me, escalates when yelling happens. So, like, anytime yelling happens, I just feel like I can't communicate. Like, and so, like when that happens, people just feel like they can't talk to you. People build walls, and you just don't do it, and then things just get messy. Mm-hmm. And so I think for me, like, in my, like, experience of being in marriage so far, it, like, reminds me that, like, communication is a much bigger deal, like, to women than it is to men. To me. Like, and, like, I'm learning that I need to communicate, too. Like, men aren't very good communicators when it comes to things that they think can be easily solved. Like, they just don't communicate it out loud. They're just like, oh, like, it'll work itself out. Like, it'll be fine. So, like, for me, it's kind of like coming to an understanding that, like, men are thinking about different things than women, like, when it comes to arguments. Like, right, like, for some women, like, it's like, oh, we're going to break up right now after this fight. Or we might, like, lose each other after this fight. And it's like, men, they're kind of like, oh, this will work itself over. Like, this will make it. So it's kind of, like, made me realize, like, that is true. Like, if you don't talk about it, like, nothing's really going to happen. Like, you can, like, sit there and dream and, like, put the affirmations out there. But, like, until you work towards, like, communicating, I feel like you don't really go anywhere. So I definitely got to say that's, like, our number one thing is how we work through differences. If not, we just throw the hands. No, just kidding. Sorry. Nah, but yeah, no, that's for me what I've learned is just communication, man.
So you mentioned that you have a child.
I do. I have a 4-month-old baby girl. Baby girl, Tahina.
What was it like when you found out that dude was pregnant?
Man, it was definitely a shock. Like, honestly, I was shocked because she kept it to herself for, like, a couple hours.
How did she
like,
tell you?
She actually filmed me, and I had just gotten home from work, and it was nighttime. And she had this little box out, and it says, it was like a surprise little box. And then I opened it, and it was just her pregnancy test with, like, you're gonna be a daddy note. And, like, I remember I literally lost my mind. Like, I started jumping up and down. Like, my head almost touched the ceiling. Like, in the video, like, it's basically kind of the same way I jumped at my gender reveal. It was super, super, like, flamboyant, bro.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and you wrapped it and everything?
No, I didn't. I just placed the ball in it.
Aw, come on, honey. You're kidding. No way!
Yeah.
No way! I'm not playing, babe. Are you serious? Are you serious? Oh my god. Oh my god. Heavy. Oh my god. Are you being serious right now? Oh my god.
And then she was telling me what happened. She was at work, and she went to go take a test, and she was in the bathroom, and I remember her telling me she was just so, like, flabbergasted. Like, she was like, she wasn't at work, but she wasn't at work.
You got your tech crew in the back.
Right, literally, I know. And then I got the, no, I wasn't. No, anyways, she's at Walgreens. She's at Walgreens. Not Walgreens? How about you just let me tell it the way I remember it, okay?
But the way you remember it is fine.
Hey, how about you just let me tell it the way I remember it? Anyways, my memories. Anyway. But anyway, she was at the bathroom and she took the pee test, and I remember telling me it had been like 4 hours, like since she was waiting for me to get home. So like for me, I was impressed. I was like, man, I feel like if something of like that caliber news, like I wouldn't be able to like contain myself. Like, so the fact that she did like wait for me to get home and find out through a box, like I was like really ecstatic. I was like actually surprised, because I feel like men, when you try to do surprises for them, like it kind of goes to because they like act like not surprised. But like that, I was like way surprised. Yeah, way surprised, because I'm super safe. Yeah.
What was it like when you saw her for the first time taking her?
Oh man, I definitely remember thinking to myself like this is literally like everything. Like it's not even about me. It's not even about like Deandra anymore. It's really just about her. Like I remember she became like my number one priority. Still is, like to this day. Like it's just like your priorities change. Like you literally go from like your TikTok feed literally goes from like gym, party, like concert shit to like baby TikToks and like life hacks as a mom, or like Amazon best finds. Like it's crazy, bro. Like so just like seeing like the dynamic of switching to like a young man to like a father, like it literally feels like night and day. Because like when I
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, literally she just like literally kind of puts on like a sense of urgency, like a sense of like adulthood that I'm like, wow, like I really need to like work on things so I can provide for this kid so that she has a better life than I did. Because like I feel like that's the goal for every parent. As long as they lived a better life, childhood, whatever, than you would be more than happy. So like for me, that's the standard and what I've set for myself. Like, yeah.
Were you like, when you first saw her, were you like, holy shit? Or were you like...
Man, I definitely was like, I don't know. For me, it was kind of what was happening around me. I was like, holy shit. Like, it wasn't like necessarily like when my baby came, I was nothing but like gratitude, man. Like, thanks to God. Like, I was like in tears. Like, I remember I was just nothing but like love, like genuine fatherhood love. And like, I like couldn't contain my tears too. It was so bad. But like, I remember like the doctors, they were like asking if we wanted to play music. And straight up, what did she throw? Oh, she threw on Lil Baby. She was like, you guys listen to Tupac? And Deandra was like, yeah, we can listen to Tupac. And then they literally threw on like this like freaking secondhand Alexa, bro. And it just started playing like, it started playing Biggie Smalls, it started playing J. Cole and like Lil Baby. And we were just like, bro, what the? And the nurses were like singing the whole time, like while my wife's like literally in labor. And I remember thinking to myself, like, bro, this is not real right now. Like, this is crazy, bro. Like, she was literally telling my wife to push and rapping lyrics, like in the middle of like my wife pushing through labor. And I'm like, bro, this isn't like an audition rap video, bro. Like, this is my wife, and they're like, but I remember they just kept it so professional. Like the doctors around us, like they were just so like nonchalant about everything they was doing. So like literally I remember when my baby came out, like the doc literally like palmed her head, bro, and just like pulled her, and I was like, but it was like so nonchalant. She was like, it was like she was picking an apple, bro. I kid you not. It was like she was just picking an apple. And I remember I was just like, damn, these doctors do this shit so much that they're just picking kids like fucking prunes right now. Like yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Yeah, so I remember just what was going around me, I thought was like wild. Like I was just like, damn, like they're really trying to play this rap music now while my wife's in labor. Like, dude, it was so funny. And like it was funny too, especially because like my family wasn't like on this side, like they're not on the island here, you know. So like I remember like I was like just like laying on the couch and I was just like, man, like Hopefully, like my family will get to like be here after that, like after I give birth. And then like my sister was like, you know, bro, I can just FaceTime them, bro. Like I remember I was like feeling that, and I was like, man, I wish they could all be here. Then I was like, I'm just gonna FaceTime everybody later. Yeah, but yeah, it was pretty wild. Like what was happening around me was unreal, dude.
So like you were like, I'm not gonna say that you were a player or whatever. I'm not gonna say that. But like, how does that? How does your mind? How does your mind change when now that you're a girl dad? Like how does
what
that?
has that thought process been like?
Yeah.
Man, honestly, I feel like since I don't know, man, I've always had a certain love about girls, and I think it comes and extends from like the love I have for my family. Like because like I'm not like a daddy's kid, bro. I'm a mama's boy, bro. Like I literally am a mama's boy. And like my mom has like always been there for me. Like she's literally been my best friend, like my tag team partner, bro. Like literally like anytime I got in trouble, she would like cover for me. Anytime I wanted something, she would do it for me. And it like got so to the point where like anytime I did anything, my brothers was like, "Oh, you're so lucky, you're so lucky." And I was like, "Okay, bro, just tell me you had it rough, okay?" Like I didn't ask for this, okay? But like, oh man, it's freak. I sorry, bro. Can you remind me the question again? I'm trying to get back to it.
I said like what's it like being a girl dad since like from the
like
Yeah,
what are
yeah.
your are you gonna be
Sorry.
like the protective like you are not coming near my daughter?
Dude, I don't know. See, because like for me, like I love her so much like as a girl dad that like she literally feels like I don't know, like not empowered, but like I feel like here especially it doesn't make me worry so much because of the community we're in, you know? Like if I was like in a different community, I would worry about her being like, you know, like a target, especially in like this society nowadays, bro. Like it's crazy, bro. Dudes be thinking creepy is cute. It is not the same thing, bro. Like it's so weird nowadays. And so like when I just think about her being a female and like what like she's gonna face in the future too, like it definitely makes me want to be protective, but I want her to be independent, you know? Like because like for me growing up, I didn't really understand, like things weren't explained to me. Like I had to learn things from school. Like it was you know what I'm saying? Like about the world that like you don't really like talk about, especially like within like cultural backgrounds of like the Samoan and Polynesian culture. Like, it doesn't really happen. So that's where I feel like being a girl that is like I want her to be always protected but also independent, you know?
That's a good answer. I like that answer actually a lot.
What's the best thing to you about being a dad?
Best thing about being dad, bro. Man, see, that's where I gotta think because like I'm in such an early stage of being a dad where I just feel like every little moment I've been sucking it in. Like I really have been taking like like I feel like having a kid is kind of like you're wishing time would slow down. Like because like I feel like every day I look at her and I'm just like, wow. Like it just still feels like unreal. Like every time I come back home, bro, I literally think she ate herself, bro. I'm like, bro, what happened to you? Because she's like literally like huge, bro. Like she has like she'll have like skin things happen because her rolls don't get any air, bro. Like I'm like, bro, is it that bad? Are you that fat where your skin is covering your skin, causing you like tension, bro? Like unreal, bro. Like yeah. So I don't know. It's just like taking it in that like wow, like pretty soon she's gonna be walking, pretty soon she's gonna be running around, and like I think I want more girls, like because to me the way I see like boys, I don't think it's in the way of like how most people see boys, like because to me I had, and I think it stems from like the way I was raised too, because I have 7 brothers, you know, and I have one loving mom, and like I feel like in my time of growing up, like it's always been like, oh, like who wants to go with mom? Like who wants mom? You know what I'm saying? And like for me, I feel like if it's daughters, it's more of like, oh yeah, when do you want to come over? You know, like it's more of like I will take care of you. Like, and I feel like that's the difference. It's like a son's love is different because when they find like a female they love, like it's like literally like I moved halfway across the world like for my love, like you know you do what you do because you love them. And so like for me I feel like it's the same thing for girls too. It's like especially when it comes to like, you know, their fathers, it's like I will drop everything just to take care of you, Like, that's how any daughter feels about their dad who raised them right, you know? It's like,
Why am
anything
I
you
gonna
need,
cry
I will
at
be
that?
there. Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, sorry.
You
Sorry.
hit a nerve.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
You hit a
my
nerve,
bad.
bro.
No, my bad. Yeah, but that's what I feel like. I don't know. It's like, it's like, I literally will drop anything, and like, that's what I want my daughter to be like. It's like, oh, I'll drop anything to like be there for you. Because like for me, it's like when like something happens in my family, it's like but we kind of take a long time to coordinate, bro. But anything in the women in our family plan, bro, it's like boom, 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 done, done. Like we literally would not do anything, bro, if we didn't have any like guidance or like coordination, bro. Because I don't know what it is about Tupe men, we just don't have it, bro. We literally are the kings of we'll see what happens. Like literally the kings of we'll see. We'll see, bro. And then we just expect like plans to happen, but like it's just the humor just takes over, so it's just all disguised, even though it's just one giant shit show. Yeah, but anyway, that's how I feel. I just feel like the more women that like I have in my life, like as a father, and like not as only as a partner, but as a father, I just feel like the more organization will be in my life. That's truly how I feel, bro. Like, I don't need no muscle. Like, I don't need no, like, I don't need yard work done right now. I'm good, bro. What I need is some organization. And I feel like the females will bring that, bro. They will bring that to the table. Because I literally, like, think about it, bro. Like, boys just don't have enough patience to deal with it, bro. Like, but girls, like, they have enough patience to be like, okay, I will help you with what you got and make it work. Yeah. That's how I feel.
What is some like advice you are gonna like give to Tahina as she grows up and like?
Honestly, golden rule, like, be kind, treat others how you want to be treated. Like, there's a reason it's the golden rule. It's because like it really is true. Like, I want her to understand that you are not entitled to anything in this world. Like, you have to work for it. Like, you can wish, you can dream, you can hope, you can put the affirmations, but without work, nothing's gonna happen, and like you're not gonna go anywhere. And that's what I want her to understand. Like it's. I feel like in success, especially, it's kind of like bro, it's kind of like I heard this story. It's like there's a king, and he asked like for everyone to put a glass of milk. He asked for everyone to put a glass of milk in this well that he's building. And he's like, I'm the king. I need to get a fresh glass of milk every morning. And so he tells all the people in the kingdom to go and pour a glass of milk in this pond. And so every morning he'll just have a pond full of milk. And like, so one guy, he's like, oh, like, you know what? I'll just go put water in all of this milk and nobody can even tell the difference, like, that I put one glass of water when everyone's supposed to put one glass of milk. And so they all wake up the next morning, and the king goes up and he throws his bucket down, and he scoops up, and he come to his surprise, it's just like a bucket full of water. Like, there is no milk. Everyone had thought like, oh, I'm not even gonna put milk in there. Like, nobody's gonna notice. But like, I think something I want to instill into her is like the little things people will notice. Like the little things that she does. Like, even though like, because I feel like that's the number one killer is procrastination. Like, I want to understand like, nobody's gonna do it for you unless you do it for yourself, you know. But yeah, that's a lesson I want her to make.
Who do you think she looks more like, you or Diandra? Or is there a family member that you think she looks like?
Honestly, she looks a lot like her auntie Yvette. That's Diandra's auntie that you just passed away. She looks exactly like her. Like, but when I look at her with her curly hair, like, she kind of looks like me too, though. Like, I think it's her hair that makes her look more like me. But like sometimes, like when I see her like chunkiness and like her side eye, she looks a lot like Diandra's auntie. But yeah, as for me though, like I think she looks like me. She looks like a little boy, bro. Like to me, she looks like a little boy. Yeah, she's my little chunky monk.
What has been the hardest part of your life up to this point?
Oh man, I think the hardest part of my life up to this point. I gotta say, I did have an experience with death already with my dad. But that didn't really hit me as bad because, you know, I saw it coming. Like, he was old. He was already having heart. But, like, the doctors literally told us, like, we were so blessed to have him for, like, another 2-3 years. Like, because that was, like, his chance of survival was, like, less than 10% already. But it was that was something where I kind of had grown like at peace with it, because like I knew he was like not suffering anymore, you know, like health wise at least. Like he was going to dialysis, he was doing all these things, but like I knew what was like it was all downhill for him. But I did have an experience where one of my best friends, his name was Nifai Tanuvasa, he did commit suicide, and I was like one of the last people he talked to too, and we were really close. Like at the time we were working together, and I would drive and pick him up and vice versa. Him and his family would drive me because we all worked for the same company. And I remember it was 4:20. It was 4:20. I was just thinking about our last conversation we had was him just talking about like us hanging out. Like it was just about, you know, the next time we were gonna meet up, we were gonna do this and stuff. And so I remember when I lost him, it felt like one of the hardest things I was going through in my life, because, you know, to lose someone who's fighting a battle that you don't know about, it kind of gets you thinking about some of the battles that, you know, other people fight that you don't know about. And then you start thinking about your own battles you're fighting, and like kind of makes you realize, like, in a world where you don't feel safe enough to reach out, or you don't feel man enough or prideful enough, it's like you'd much rather talk to somebody on the phone than on their funeral. And so the fact that I had to do the second one for one of my best friends, it was something that was really tough for me personally. Like I remember like thinking to myself, like, wow, like he can't be the only one suffering. And that's kind of what's opened my heart up to, like, you really do know no one, like know nothing about nobody's life, because like there's this much of a person, like that's, and then there's the rest of their life, you know, like there's only a few parts that you really actually know about. So like that's just what kind of opened my eye about, you know, people dealing with those kind of battles. It's there and it does happen. It's just, as a Polynesian culture, I think we can do better recognizing it, because like there are things like I feel like you know, that could have helped him succeed if like he was provided the tools, you know, just like any situation. And I just feel like Polynesians, it's like as a whole, it's kind of not swept under the rug, but it's definitely not talked about as much, you know. Like it's something that like people have that like it just hasn't been recognized by our community, you know, that hard. But I definitely dealing with that. It's kind of helped me learn and understand, you know, the things that are important in life, like just the precious way life is, because it just kind of made me realize like it's never too late to change. It's never too late to say something. It's never too late, too tired to call, you know. So kind of helps you keep in check with what's important. So it's definitely been something been growing through.
Looking back now, what's some advice you would give to your younger self?
Ooh, some advice I would give to my younger self. I definitely would have told my younger self that growing up, like, not to take as much disrespect as like you would allow, you know? Because like I feel like part of growing up, I never really understood like why I would get treated differently, you know, especially in like a southern community too when I was growing up. And so I think the thing I want to instill most in my kids, and like I could tell myself, is like, you know, don't let jokes be like in the form of disrespect, you know? Because I feel like there's a lot of times where I was like, man, like I should have beat that dude's ass, but I was just so concerned about like how my parents would react, even though I knew like if they saw the way people were acting, like they would knock them in the teeth too, you know? So like for me, I want my kid to understand that like it's okay to like take a joke, but like know the difference between like disrespect disguised in a joke, you know? Because there is like a difference, and like, you know, you learn the hard way like later in life. You're like, wow, like now that I'm past 18, like I can go to jail for fighting. Like, you know, it's just like small regrets you have. You're like, wow, like dang, like I was a minor, I'd be okay. Like, but yeah, that's something that I would tell my younger self is like just to not take as much like disrespect as like you feel like is allowed, you know.
What are some family traditions that you remember from our childhood that you hope to pass down to your family?
Oh man, I'd say from our childhood, dude, there's like so much. Man, I have to say one thing from our childhood that I love is how we always used to go to the park, man. I remember we used to go to Roosevelt Park and we would be there like, felt like forever, but like I remember so many memories of just going to the park and just like having fun, like riding bikes, like playing on the playground. Like there was just so much fun now, and so like that's something that like I want to do as well. It's like, you know, like I want to take my daughter out, take her to the park, like let her play and stuff, like because like when I was a kid, like I feel like that was like prime times. Anytime we got to go anywhere together is when I feel like it was fun. Like we could go do things like by ourselves with other people, and I still feel like some of my best memories were like the times where I was young, and like we used to go to the park, or we went to the drive-in movie theaters to watch like the whole Pirates of the Caribbean, like so things like that where I feel like it was family time, but also something like outside of like just barbecues, kongai, like, you know, like meeting up for funerals, like things like where you're just like so used to meeting up with family, like in those senses, and just doing something different like as a family, like with fun, like camping, like going out, like that. Those are things that like I definitely want to instill too.
I definitely wished I was around for your party days. I feel like that would have been a fun time.
Dang, man, it was definitely different back then. It's like black and white, bro, for real, bro.
We have a request to ask you about a specific party. Did you, by chance, see any of your siblings at a party?
Oh, dude.
And what is that story?
Uh-huh.
And what is
There's
that
only
story?
one time that I can remember, and I think it's only one person who knows. But it was me. Oh my goodness. It was me and Prince, and we were working at the same place at the time. And Prince's friends, they were all management, and I had just started working there, and like I remember I was like, oh yeah, this would be cool, this would be a different environment. And it was my first time working like anything food too. Like before that I was like, nah, I'll never work in the food industry. And so Prince, he was like already like a king of the food industry, as you can tell. But anyway, I like literally like he hired me. I needed the job, bro, too. I needed this job because I think it was just after I got done visiting Deandra too. And so I was like, bro, I need a job. I just quit my job to visit my future wife. Now I need a job again. And so I asked Prince for a job. He freaking blessed me with a job. And while we were working together, there was these people, like, they were from up north, Ogden. And they would just always talk about, like, oh, yeah, like, come over. Like, because their houses were getting paid for. Their vehicles are getting paid for. And they're like, yeah, like, come over. This is the spot, whatever. And so, like, I was literally, like, nothing of it. And, like, because the guys are my age, right? And so I'm, like, thinking nothing of it. And then I roll up to the place, and Prince is there, too. Bro, and this is, like, the funniest thing because, like, this was just, like, a side I'd never seen of my brother, too. Like, you know, it's, like where there's, like, I think it is, like, almost, like, a 10-year age gap between me and him. So, like, me seeing him there, I was kind of, like, this is not real right now. This is not real, bro. This is crazy. As like, my original thought was like flight, bro. I was like, oh, I gotta dip. Like, there's no way I'm gonna look at my brother. And then I just see, and he's like literally like laughing. He looks a little tips, and I'm just like, all right, we're doing this. And I know this man has 3 kids at home waiting for him. Like, and it's literally like 2 p.m. too, bro. It's 2 p.m. on a freaking like Friday. And like,
wait, in the afternoon?
In the afternoon, yeah, bro.
What?
Yeah,
A party
it's
in the
literally
afternoon?
morning time, bro. Yeah, it was morning time when we went over there.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was morning time when we were over there, and then I seen Prince had left already, so he left first because he had responsibilities or whatever, and I hung around, and it just got so crazy that I remember I literally blacked out, bro. Like I literally blacked out, and I woke up, and it was just these people playing with the Ouija board, bro. I woke up to these fools playing with the Ouija board, and I'm in the center of the room, like blacked out, waking up, looking around me, and then boom, I just looked to my left, and there's a Ouija board, and I was like, oh hell no!
Get
And
that
so
away from
dude,
me.
I freaking literally book it out the freaking. I literally like it was probably so rude, but I was like, I gotta go. Like, I'll see you guys later. And so I leave, bro. And I'm just at my truck, just literally throwing up like for like 2 minutes straight. Like no stoppage whatsoever, bro. Like no stoppage. Like at my truck, just gone to the wind, bro. I show up to work the next day and Prince is like, how'd it go? And I just like I almost threw up again when he asked me how I went, bro.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, it was terrible. But yeah, it was so funny because like just seeing Prince there, I was like almost hesitant. I was almost hesitant to touch anything. Like, cause I seen him there and I was like, hey, you want anything? I was like, oh, just apple juice. Like, yeah, like,
I'll just get a bottle of water.
I'll just get some apple juice too. Yeah, like I was tripping, yeah. So it was funny to see like Prince too, and like yeah, but yeah, that is one of the memories where I did run into one of my brothers at a party. Yeah. That was funny.
What are your hopes and dreams for your future?
For my future?
Yeah.
Man, I definitely like coming full circle, man. I want to be a police officer out here, man. Like the police academy is so like it looks like a fun like squad of brothers to be a part of, man. And I think that's just what I'm gonna be shooting for. Is like I've worked security for a little bit, and like in the long run, I just want to be a police officer, bro. Be a real one. Tired of being a mall cop. Sorry. Yeah.
Paul Blart looking at
For real, bro. It's rough. But yeah, no, that's those are like what I dream. That's what I hope to become here in the near future too. Like that's one of those like near future goals I'm at right now.
What makes you happy?
Oh, my wife, man. I have to. Like honestly, like that is my number one source of happiness. Like anytime I think about anything that goes bad in my day, like she literally could just like look at me and I'm like I feel blessed. Like I feel lucky. Like I feel genuinely lucky when like I have somebody that I feel like I can just like do nothing but complain to, and it's just like nothing but solutions. Like because like I feel like that's what women provide. Like especially like as a man who's like not used to sharing like problems. You know what I'm saying? Like but there's something about my wife where I feel like she like solves like half of my problems. Like literally like anytime I have something that I feel like is too much for me, like I'll talk to her and it just helps me like remind myself like, oh, it's like there are better things in life than what I'm worried about. Like her favorite saying is like, is it gonna matter in 5 years? Is it gonna matter in 10 years? And then I'm like, no, because like I feel like men, they get caught up in like what people think, and like I feel like they don't talk about it and they just kind of project like about it. They don't really talk about it, they just project. And it's like for me, like when I talk to D'Angelo, it makes me feel like, okay, like this is like an actual smart solution. It's just my anger that's not letting me like listen to it, you know? So yeah, that's what I gotta say. It makes me like happy.
Nice. That's the end of those questions. Did you want us to ask you anything? Did you think that we were gonna ask you anything?
That we didn't.
Man. No, I like literally went over the questions and stuff. Like, I think that's, yeah, I couldn't think of anything that I thought you guys were going to ask me about that we haven't really kind of covered in a sense.
And one thing that we're asking all the brothers is, do you have a topic that you want us to discuss?
That you want to hear on the podcast.
That I want to hear about? Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to hear you guys talk about, like, Polynesian culture and, like, the history of it all. Like, I want to know why Samoans and Tongans got beef.
Oh,
okay. Like, I want to know why. I just learned that our people were enslaved. I just learned that Samoans got enslaved. And I was like, bro, what the heck? I want to learn, like, why the land was so self-sustainable, like how every other place was like struggling and we were just exploring
and we were just
like,
chilling.
Like literally, bro, literally. Like I was like, man, they should have just got off the boat a little earlier, man. We would have been chilling. Yeah, but like that's what I want to hear about. I want to hear about like, and I want to hear about like how King Kamehameha like almost built like not like an empire necessarily, but he literally like defended his land. Like I want to hear a lot about like
Hawaiian culture
his
and
tactic.
stuff.
Yeah. Like I want to hear about all like and like ancient stories too, like different like beliefs, different like like I feel like that would be something sick that like I'd really like take interest in learning about too. Is because I feel like a lot of people are kind of ignorant with that stuff when it comes to like why they can't go certain places. Me and Deandra just saw these two dumbasses like got lost on a hike over here and they don't even know why. Yeah, bro. So it's just kind of like I feel like people aren't really like hearing enough about it of like why certain things are the way they are here. What else is there? I want to hear about like the success rate of Polynesians that are playing sports and doing athletic things versus the success rate of Polynesians that are like graduating with like PhDs and like graduating college and
Dang, this boy,
like actually
he be on it.
yeah, bro, I'm telling you, like I like what kind of like why that is and like why they kind of center it. Like why aren't we having more kids get like graduate college and like like move out of the house, but we're having people that are like living with their moms until like forever, so like why that is like and like what they feel like our culture is doing that is making it that way. And why aren't people getting their licenses, bro? For real, like why?
Come
Like
on.
what are the numbers? Like tell me the numbers, bro. Like the statistics of like or like what causes like find somebody without a license and literally interview them, bro, and just be like, how do you survive on a day-to-day basis, bro? Like how are you bust right now? Like I don't get it. Like you don't have an ID.
That's so funny.
Yeah, bro. I want to hear about a lot of different kind of things. Like I want to hear about your thoughts on like men mixing too, like men leaving their homes for like hours and hours, and like what women's stances on it. Like how do ladies feel about like waiting up on their mans? Like, yeah.
Because there's also like crazy stuff.
Yeah, bro, and like literally like they just leave them there, like just a room full of men, and sometimes chicks fall up, and that just looks bad in itself. Like, like so like
and the
just
girls are
how
the ones
some
that you have
women
to like serve. The girls
Yeah,
that serve.
yeah.
Yeah,
what I'm
like that's what I'm
saying.
saying. Like there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on with
That's
that,
what I'm saying.
you know?
You guys should talk about that too, like because I'm pretty sure like New Zealand is like one of like those places that's like domestic violence is almost like in every case. You know what I'm saying? Like talk about like domestic violence, like within the Polynesian. Talk about gangs, like Polynesian gangs, like what started like the Booyah tribe, like because I feel like there's so much like culture out there, stuff that like at least since I've been living here, like living in Hawaii, like I've been learning to like, especially from my wife, dude, like I've really been trying to like get in tune of like understanding like our culture, because my wife works at PCC, she's surrounded by it, but like they just had the 60th annual celebration, and it was just crazy because like my wife was telling me about these people, and they have like 5th generation dancers, they have like 5th generation fire knifers, like they have like all these people that they just learned throughout the whole line, and I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Like where did fire knifing even originate? You know what I'm saying? Like why do we even do that, even though like yeah. So those are just some stuff I want to hear about, because like I feel like our people do get put on the map, but we never get put on the map for like ancient stuff. Like it's like we were self-sustainable. Like we were literally the only people
Wow,
that
he
like
moves to Hawaii and all of a sudden he's
And
cool.
he's like, woo!
yeah, sorry. What?
Oh.
sorry. What? My bad. Oh, sorry. My bad. No, that's what I was thinking. I literally was just like, it makes me kind of grateful to be here, because I'm understanding like as a people why we thrived, like why it was so easy. And like I think just like now it's like people are focusing on like all the change of like not like segregation of like if you know the language or not, but I think they're forgetting of like how it all started. It like literally was like all of Polynesia together, like it unifies as one. Like it's not just like tongue phone. So just the fact that we have all these different like cultures and like different languages, but like as a people they are one, I think is amazing. Because like could you imagine if like Polynesians were at the numbers of Mexicans? Like bro, we are a different breed. Like we had to be contained. Like it is not like they're like, if you're from Samoa, you have like a 75% more chance of making the NFL than any other human being. Like, and that's just based off of genetics alone. So like Like, our people are literally, like, amazing, like, thriving people. But, like, I just feel like our people alone, like me, like, I don't even know about that kind of stuff. Like the fact that I just learned about, like, ancient history, like, that's not talked about, I think is crazy. Like, I think it's crazy. Like, I learned, like, my people were enslaved, like, a long time ago. Like, that's crazy to me. I'm like, bro, I could never even imagine, bro. Like, holy crap. Yeah. So, anyways, those are just a few things I thought you guys could cover that I want to hear about from you guys, because you already know. I'm just Kama'aina over here. Sorry. Kama'aina discount only, bro.
So,
Well, thank you for coming on our podcast and sharing your life story. We appreciate all the things that you've said, and we miss you, and we love you.
I miss you, gang. I miss y'all. Appreciate you guys having me, man. Frick, that was a blast. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, thank you for listening. Our episode today was with Renz. Stay tuned for our next one, and we're gonna have Uncle Renz.
Boo.
see you guys next week. Be sure to tune in. Comment down below if you think Lorenzo looks like the pumpkin or not.
That's wild, bro. That is wild.
Twins.
Me and you, buddy. Me and you against the world.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.